and maybe I've used it before with you, is basically like imagine like you're learning an instrument, and then the first week like you're learning a violin, the next week you're learning the cello, then the week after you're learning the double bass. Even though they're like all fairly related because they're all string instruments, you would have made more progress on learning one of these instruments had you just learned it, for all 3 weeks. And that's kind of the, I guess, issue that I see by splitting it in half and half is you could have just made way more progress on tank, instead of just being, I guess, mediocre or staying stagnant on both roles. It's kind of the same advice I give to players as well if they wanna, if they've got too out of a hero pool in the same role. But my main worry is like, I'm gonna give you different points on tank as you are on support, and it's gonna be hard to sort of prioritize what you want to work on. So I don't know, like if you still want to like do half and half, or like still focus heavily on or still like do tank and support this VOD, because I mean my advice would be to avoid doing that at least for now, because it would stagnate, or it would be counterintuitive or counterproductive to your progress on either role.
Okay.
So
We can do two on tank. Yeah, I edited the code. It's a different tank game that I was like deciding if I wanted to do. So
right, okay,
um, yeah. So this game and then the WQX code.
yeah,
So yeah. So this first game, I was on Doomfist. I was doing pretty well, I'd say. I just wanted to know what I could have done better because we
right.
lost this game.
Right, okay.
So
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it goes here. Obviously, I mean, last time I forgot what rank you were. What rank are you at like right now, or like during the game time?
right now I'm Masters 3. My peak was Masters 2 last season, top 314.
Okay,
But yeah, our first session, my peak was Masters 4. So
okay, slight ribbon there. That's good. We'll see how this forward goes. I won't need to really discuss the basics here, but we'll see what decisions you make in the mid fight. Okay. Well, the first fight you don't know what they're running, so I'll be more lenient on that. But yeah. Alright. Okay. Okay. So like this, there's not a lot that's happened so far, right? But this is something that I've, I guess, caught or looked at a lot when looking at Hazard VODs, because Hazard plays in a similar way to Doomfist, I suppose, where you'll essentially, if they're frontline, so if they're Genji in meta right now, in the current meta, it's been Genji and their Hazard, but in this comp it would be their Pharah and their Bull here. If they're not really threatening your team, or you can essentially ignore these characters, and it doesn't come at a big cost to your team, then you can essentially look to engage on the backline here. So when I see you look at the Bull, or like over here, maybe you haven't got the cooldowns for it, right? So still coming back on slam here, so that's fine. And then, yeah, so like as soon as you get your slam back here, essentially, right, I want you immediately slamming and soft engaging this. Because the Bull's not threatening, like he's not doing anything. Like there's no cost for you doing that, essentially. You get a bunch of free shields, you threaten backline, like it's the ease of soft engage, right? And you know that. So yeah, slightly faster there, nothing crazy. But it's something to keep in mind of, because if you are playing, I don't know, like a hybrid map, or an escort map, and their frontline's playing really far and they can't punish your backline, then by all means go ahead and do an engage. So yeah. And actually that slam is all, you don't even, so what could you have done there with that slam potentially?
I could have gone more to the right. I was looking for like a punch off the map. That's why I did it more to the left.
Right. That's such a rank thing to do. Yeah, it's never gonna be happening. Like, I mean, unless
All right.
they especially into that comp cast Ana, like if you want to get a slam here, or get a punch off the map, they need to be walking forward. If they're walking forward though, they're gonna sleep you, or flash you, or CC you in some kind of way. So, in regards to the point here being is, if you want to get a punch, you're gonna get CC'd. If you don't want to get a punch, then you just don't get a punch, and you'll sort of sacrifice your slam for that. So yeah, I would just slam to the right here, just forego the puncher, because again, it's just a very rank thing to do. Like this guy would just be brain dead to ignore you, and to white swing you into punch. But yeah, I would just not risk it. But yeah, okay, fine, relatively. Okay, like he gives space there, that's good. Okay, sounds better. Okay, I think that punch is like a bit more reasonable. So why is this punch a little bit more reasonable here?
Um, like in what I mean.
Like
Hold on.
compared to the last time, sorry.
I mean, because I'm actually trying to go for someone. I'm trying to look
Yeah,
for some poke damage or maybe even a pick.
right. So he's completely split from the rest of his team here, and he's probably not even expecting you to engage for this. Right? And he's also in open space too. So it means he's essentially more punishable, more killable for that sort of engage there. Whereas here you're banking on him walking past the sort of the wall here. Whereas here he's already out in open space, so he's more punishable. Okay, fine. Okay, nice. I don't know what he was doing there. Then why he just didn't hide in dojo. Okay, point is fine. You've got nowhere else to go really. Okay, yeah, Tim just died there.
Yeah.
Yeah, as engage. Yeah, go on.
I just don't know how two of my teammates died there. So
yeah.
I was wondering if I should like try to play with them at this point, but
yeah, it's a virtue of not a virtue, but I guess a curse of you playing Doom here is if you're not playing someone like a diva or even a hazard, you can never contest their fire or their ball really. So like your only opportunity, your only sort of goal in this comp here, or the only sort of matchup here, is to hold these guys at bay. The Lucio here as well as also to just sort of prevent their follow-up from even happening in the first place. But yeah, of course, like you can't really. I guess you can sort of prevent a ball going in, right? I mean, maybe there's an argument earlier to where you could have maybe forced this guy out and maybe he rolls away a little bit, but he's not really forcing him out. He's just gonna roll away and then go back in anyway. So it's not really, there's not too much you can do necessarily against their comp. I mean, we'll keep an eye out on like opportunities to where you can force the ball out, or opportunities to where if the ball is currently out, if he's rolling out, then maybe your team can actually walk safely. In fact, yeah, we can have a look back at first fight, maybe see if that would have made a difference there. Because from your POV, you did a fairly good job in terms of like holding the Arna Kassov. Obviously you punished the cats being split. Your Lucio ended up redditing and getting the Arna kill too. But yeah, we'll see what happens to your backline in the meantime, because obviously you're not a character that deals with Bullafara quite well. Okay. Second touch a walk. He fucks up the boop anyways. Bull gets really low. He does nothing, basically. Okay. Okay. So yeah, your Trace is just doing completely air right now. Yeah, there's not too much to add here, really. I mean, your Kiriko and your Cass are split. This is not your fault, really, is what I'm saying. Because your Trace is doing nothing. Your Kiriko is completely split from your Cassidy. And you're not bunkering in the room here, really. Only potential thing I can say is being a little bit faster on the cast kill, maybe, and then potentially, like, maybe forcing out the ball thereafter, right after you get this cast kill. But barring that, it's nothing crazy. That's like hindsight 2020. Nothing crazy I can say. I think that when you leave onto the far, I think that's fine as well. To try and force her out. It's fine. Fine. Nice. Okay. See here. Now the retake should be a little bit easier for your team now. Not having to worry about Farah. Hopefully you don't get forced out here. Okay. Weirdly enough, we haven't seen you power block yet, which is interesting. Oh yeah, maybe because you haven't needed to. Okay. See here. Okay, so what should you be thinking about on this retake here? Or considering?
Well, I mean, like maybe someone who's separated from their team, look for an early pick, and then we can kind of like snowball that into the fight win.
Right. I guess like so what are your options here with how you want to move? So considering no one's already isolated here, where might you want to think about moving to? I zoom out here.
Behind that pole, behind the giant like pole right in the middle. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that could work. I think that's relatively okay. I don't mind that. My slight concern is it might be a little bit too close. It's why I was actually more so thinking dojo here. But this could also work too. You've got power block and you're not playing into Arnold Cassidy, so you're not going to get blown up. I think that works here, depending on what kind of comp they're playing. And I guess like the really important nuance or distinction with that is, say you sort of slam to here and you get like a good slam into the Kiri and the Lucio. You're playing in a position in a position such that if they want to punish you, if they want to force you out, if they want to try and force you away from this pillar here, then that literally draws away so much attention from your backline, and that allows your backline to walk here safely. This is what I like to call, and maybe I mentioned this to you last time, but aggressive but safe positions, which is essentially you're playing angles that such that if they want to push you, these guys have to put themselves at risk from your backline here essentially. So yeah, kind of links into that idea that I mentioned earlier. Okay, yeah, what you do here, you punch. Yeah, you punch into thin air. I think you're trying to punch the ball there, right? Or deny his thingy.
I think that I missed him, yeah.
Yeah. I think like I think the punches like I mean, maybe it's reasonable to do. Then again, I'm like, should your team really be? Is it reasonable to expect your team to not get booped here? I think that's reasonable as well. Like your cast or your team shouldn't be getting booped by the most telegraphed bull rollout in the entire universe. So again, I shouldn't be expecting them to get booped off, and also you've got mobility here as well. So again, I would be more concerned about your space control and what you're really moving to. I was also gonna say point here as well, but your tracer seems to be doing that, I believe. Yeah, your tracer's forcing points, so you haven't got to worry about that for now. You can kind of see how if I zoom out here and you've got one angle coming from here, one angle coming from here, all of a sudden it becomes a lot harder for their team to sort of clear your tracer or you out, and hopefully that allows your cast and your backline to actually walk here safely, because they only have to worry about a single ball player. But yeah, when I see this punch, I'm like, okay, we're in open space, we're down 150 HP. Who do we really go on? It's a bit difficult. Haven't got much cover, right? Now is what I'm thinking about, or now is where I would expect you to sort of panic out your abilities a little bit here. But we'll see. Okay, so you just don't get bugged out. Okay. I guess that works out too, right? What's the far look at? Because I always expect their far to spam you here. Okay, maybe she's just a big ass gun blocks you. Which is quite funny. But I guess it works out, I suppose. Okay. Slamming, I think, is fine. It contributes to helping out your tracer. You slam into the Lucio and the Genji. You've got good cover here to use. I'm okay with the soft engage. I'm fine with this. Okay, I like you keep the punch there so you don't accidentally punch the ball. That's fine as well. Let me look back here a little bit, actually. Maybe it's something I'm missing with your power block here. Yeah, I think... Because, like... How do I phrase it here? Oh, you're taking aggression here, but you're not taking so much aggression that you need to power block this. Because, if you power block this, the ball's going to stop shooting you. So, I think punching out here is fairly reasonable. Where might power blocking become more of a viable option here?
Maybe, like, to protect the tracer? Or...
Maybe thinking more so about the aggression from the rest of the enemy team.
I mean, like, right after I slam, like with like the follow up, I just expect them to shoot at me, like as soon as I slam in, so I just power block.
Yeah, I wouldn't be anticipating that. The reason why is because, like, again, they can stop shooting at you at any moment in time, especially if they run just hit scans and whatnot. It's more. I mean, you are on the right tracks though, which is again the entire point of when you slam in, you'll take a bunch of aggression. And that was more specifically coming from the Pharah. So if the Pharah's going to be spamming you, maybe she rotates the point or whatever the case may be, or if she's playing the sort of like coast-side angle or white room or above the building, then power blocking makes a little bit more sense because that's guaranteed damage. And also I think that Kiriko wasn't looking at you as well, and Kiriko was also very decent source of damage to add up to your power block. But yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. Time is fine. Punch is reasonable. Okay. And yeah, of course, I'm not gonna bully you too much for this power block here because power blocking is hard into their comp. Because there's no big source of damage barring their Pharah. But obviously, if I back it up a little bit here, you're visually like not taking any aggro. Kiriko's dead. Lucius right in front of you. Ball's behind you, so you're not getting any charge over him. Genji's deep peeking this on 1 HP, so you're really taking no aggro here. Or very little aggro. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Like now, I'm not saying you power blocking this would have changed the fight dramatically, right? But then right, when the Pharah was looking at you, and you're literally alone on point, then power blocking becomes a little bit more viable. In terms of, again, hey, maybe a power block, get a punch go into a wall, get a trade, and then maybe it's a bit more winnable next fight. But yeah. Still kill him anyways, that's crazy. Okay. Whoa, she misses. Yeah, that's very lucky. Wow, you lived that. That is insane. Yeah, if she hit that direct, you would have died there. Maybe even you kill her. Who knows? Yeah, you hit the Genji instead. That's fine. Ball box. Oh, okay. So I guess I get why you're doing this because you want to try and catch the Pharah because you get good damage onto her. I guess you're almost going for a role here in essence where you're so tunnel. This is a very random thing to do. Maybe I even said this last time as well. But you're so tunnel on getting kills that you forget your half HP, and you forget that you haven't even got Mutual Strike yet to be able to do this, right? So a little bit more patience, it goes a long way. In other words, and I guess like the visual cue to be able to do that or to recognize that is the ball kill. The fact that you were so low, Suze has been used, and the fact that you're already off HP, like you've already done more than you should have bargained for. You get out alive and you got the ball kill. So just chillax it essentially. There's no reason to int in here. Yeah, I mean, I think someone else is with you. Yeah, you're Tracer here, right? But you being here isn't going to be a massive deterrent, regardless, because you're not a pure character. Um, so yeah. Ooh, that's scary. Yeah, and I have a saying as well. You don't want bad positioning to force bad cooldowns, and that's kind of what happened there, where you got your power block and your meter strike forced because you put yourself in a bad position. But yeah. Okay. Fine. I mean, that's not much of a better meter strike you could have done there. That's fine. Punch is reasonable. Okay. So I could cry about your follow-up shots here. It's something that even really high. So when I was coaching a Doom player last year, it was something that he even struggled with a lot because even though he's like really high ranks, he hates hitting follow-up shots into Kiris and Lucios. Slow down here. You missed that one. Missed that one. Right, you missed that one. So your first two shots were over-aimed. Like you over-flicked onto the Kiriko. And I guess part of it comes down to I'd rather you hit you fire fewer shots but hit a greater proportion of them rather than you fire more shots and hit a fewer proportion of them. So in other words, you can fire 2 shots and hit most of your bullets rather than you fire all 4 shots and hit half of your bullets, or whatever the case may be. Because the rate at which you hit shots is just way higher here. But yeah, now you've got no ammo, and when the Kiriko turns around, had you still had ammo here, you could actually finish off the kill. So yeah, slight micro then, just in terms of a little bit of more patience when you're playing squishy characters or against like weird hitboxes like Moira, Kiri, Lucio, stuff like that. But yeah. Okay, stun is fine. Even though you don't hit the Kiriko. Punch is fine. Okay. Power block there's fine. Sure. Nothing crazy there CD wise. Okay. Seem to clean up that point now. Okay, cool. Alright, so far, nothing crazy, but general space control's been one of the key themes, as well as like little bits of micro hero there with like how you're moving and how you're using your gun in between your abilities right there as well. Yeah, I think space control is going to be pretty much the most important thing here, especially for retakes. Okay, we'll see here. Okay. Interesting punch. Okay. So like, where should you think about holding here generally on defense when you're holding the point?
Probably right there, like right around the corner, I'd say.
Right. Why is here like a generally good place to hold?
Because it's like sort of the choke point. Also, like maybe I could look for a punch, but also like and it's also like a very narrow spot where I can slam, get a lot of shields and some good damage.
Right. So essentially, it gives you options here, right? And again, it links back into the idea of like if this Genji wants to come and clear you, again, it's less so with the Cassie and Ana and people that can CC you. But if they want to come and clear you, then they need to put themselves at risk to do so. And of course, you can contribute to this angle, to here, to a point, to here. Like, there's so many different things you can do here. So when I see you punch to this sort of wall here, and it's not really intentional, or there's not really much intent to doing this, I think when you do it here, like, what does that achieve, you know? Not much. And then, funnily enough, had you stayed here this entire time, you would have been able to, like, actually contribute to forcing out the Pharah, if not directly killing her. So yeah, of course you don't need to do some crazy tech, you can just slam cancel, shoot her, that's fine. You can punch over, shoot her, that's fine as well. I don't really care how you do the micro. Either way's fine. But yeah, that could have been a nice way to force out the Pharah there. Okay. Sure. Let's see where you punch back to, actually. That's fine. Okay. So Genji, that's fine. Okay, corner's fine. Okay. Again, I'm being a little bit wary with how frivolous you're using your cooldowns. I think, again, punch is so low that, again, you can kind of use it kind of whenever, but slam not so much. And now if I zoom out here, right, and this is also a really important idea. Whenever you're playing dive mirrors, whenever you're playing against a comp that is more mobile than yours. So your backline cannot live a good dive, right? So when I say can't live a good dive, what does a good dive look like? What do I mean by good dive?
Coordinated.
Right, so well timed, right?
Yeah.
What angles when does it start looking? What do you say right now? Are they starting to get a good dive? The enemy team right now.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, are the enemy teams starting to get a good dive right now?
I mean, their Lucio's not like with them.
Right,
Their
right.
ball's very far away from the rest of their team. I'd say not really.
So yeah, Luce is really far away, right? But what do you think about the general angle pressure? As when I say starting to get a good dive, right? What do you think about
Oh,
the
like
angles that they have?
building up to it. All right. I mean, the ball's over here distracting full HP. And then you got the Kiri and the Genji looking like directly at the Ana. So I
Right.
mean, like they might be trying to like set up for something, but like they're not quite there yet.
Right. So the setup is the really important part, and you when the ball if the ball goes in here, your honor's going to die. Like right now, like probably going to die here because the Genji set up, the Kiriko set up. Sure, Lucio's not set up, but to be fair, you'll get there quickly, and he doesn't really matter too much to the dive anyways. But the point here being is that you can't live a good dive, and good dives consist of good angles and well-timed coordinated pressure. Far is a little bit far away, admittedly, but you can kind of see how stacked your main core are. Even your Kiriko here to some extent too. And I guess the key thing here is like I need you forcing out one of these angles here at least in the pre-fight, because again, if the ball goes in, your Ana will die if Genji goes in here too, and Kiriko goes in here as well. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen, because it's starting to look scary. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mines goes in. Right, and you can kind of see, right? Like, I literally called that happening before it even happened, you know? Because it just looks, it naturally looks scary, and it's literally, it's not even just on Doomfist that this is important to. It's any tank character in the game. I was actually coaching a Sigma player 2 days ago, a low GM, and this was a really important idea, because he just couldn't allow, or a big mistake he made was that he just couldn't allow, he was allowing the enemy Winston, and then the enemy Genji, to essentially swing wide like this, like take super wide angles like this. And we saw a mistake earlier of you doing this, where you didn't force up the Pharah. Sure, you punched over, you shot her a little bit, right? But she dashed away, and she still got an angle here. And then we've also seen you waste slam around over here, right? This is a pointless slam, you know. The slam needs to be on this Genji to force out the Genji and the Kiriko. Like, and literally right here would be amazing. It would be an amazing slam right here. Or hell, even slamming move the camera slowly. Like, even here would be great, right? Of course, be careful about the boop, right? So maybe this one's a little bit less reasonable. But slam here, punch out, good. Slam here, shoot, shoot, shoot. Don't even need to punch out. That's also good as well. And it prevents the Genji from even going in. Now, I'm not sure if your Ana still would have died there, because, of course, mines exist. And to give you some leeway, your Ana is in a terrible position right now. And frankly, you should die for this. But regardless, you can kind of see, like, how you don't contribute to the enemy team being forced out or prevented here. And it's really easy to sort of look at this and be like, hey, what could I have done here, you know? Because ball goes in, Genji goes in, like, but the point here being is that it's already over. Like, the fact that this guy is even walking up here shows that it's already over. The fact that ball's over here and the Pharah's over here shows it's already over, before it's even begun. And again, they've got 3 good angles here. It's what, you know, it's what you call Jova, so to say. But yeah. We'll see what you end up doing here, actually. Oh yeah, like it's too late, you know. The Genji's already dashed through. You're charging up your punch, but you're looking at a wall right now. And of course you can't. Too late to prevent the mines, and too late to prevent the ball going in as well. So yeah, too little, too late. Even if you clear mines with slam, which I'm sure you'll do. Maybe. There we go. Okay. So obviously now the best thing you can do is look for trades, right? And of course you're good at doing that. You've got the mechanic to do that. You get a trade onto the Genji. You cast trades onto the Pharah. But your Ana's just gonna die there for free every time if you don't do something about it early on. But yeah. Okay. Am I crazy? But why not just get a punch here? Why not just power block it into this mine and get a free punch?
I don't have it yet.
You don't have it? Maybe I'm just crazy. You got.
Oh, I do have it.
You got power block it. I was like, bruh. Yeah. Maybe you just didn't realize. Yeah. I don't know, maybe shit's moving too fast where you just didn't clock that you had another power block there. But yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay, of course, Kiriko is strafing in just one direction there, so probably easy to hit those shots. Okay, like, way better slam, nice. Really good kill there as well. Okay, what is he doing? Sure. Okay, now we're in a messy trade situation here. Also not a great power block because again he can stop shooting you. Sure. I mean nothing. I mean there's nothing sort of innovative or creative. This is a massive dogfight going on here between us. Nothing really crazy here. Especially micro. Your micro is fine there. Like with the way you use your abilities are fine. The only thing I'd say is the power block. But again, I'm not gonna harp on you too much for that because using power block against that comp is fairly hard. So yeah. Barring that, I think your tackle quality was good. Mechanics were great. Aim was fine. Nothing crazy. But yeah. Okay. See here. Okay. I'm fine with that. Soft engaging, that's fine. Okay, ball is feeding. Okay. Sure.
I have no clue that happened.
Yeah, so I was actually like, I mean, I was not expecting him to get slapped off the map there, which is quite funny. But I guess the key idea here is like, ideally what happens here is when bull goes in, these guys walk up. When these guys walk up, then you will zone away these guys, right? And of course, I mentioned earlier, right? You want to prevent the ball from being able to do this. You want to prevent the Genji from being able to you know, take angles, right? All that kind of good stuff. But here, you can see how much worse their setup is. This is not a good dive in any way, shape, or form. No angles. Their backline, this ball's backline, is 10 trillion kilometers away. So I don't even know why he's going in here, to be honest. But you know, more the merrier, I suppose. So here, completely fine to sort of go on the ball here, because if these guys are doing nothing, then by all means, you know, go on the guy that's doing something here. But yeah, the choice there is fairly easy, and of course, you know, sleep kill is funny. Okay, we'll see here. Okay, way better power block, nice. That was fine. Sure. Anything crazy. Nice stagger kills. Okay. Oh, that is so unfortunate.
I knew exactly when I did that. I'm like, what am I doing? I got way too greedy there.
So funnily enough, again, my old Doom player used to do this a fuck ton, where it would be like a 5v3 or a 5v2, and he would overextend for kills and then waste Meteor Strike at the end of a fight, and I'm like, bro, why are you doing this? And it's like, don't worry, bro. It's like, oh yeah, if I hit that punch, it would have been fine. Or like, if I hit the extra shots and I killed him, it would have been fine. And it's like, oh yeah, Doom ult isn't that good anyways. And it's like, bro, that's not an excuse. So it's a very simple way I like explaining this concept to players. Is there's like two factors. Maybe I even explained this last time as well. Between unnecessary. Yeah, there's like two things or two factors. There's like, or when you make a play, there's how necessary it is. So making a play being unnecessary here. And how risky a play is, right? I'm completely fine with you doing something that is risky as long as it is necessary to do so. And conversely, I'm completely fine with you doing something that's unnecessary as long as it's not risky. Where it becomes egregious is when you do something that's risky and unnecessary. And that's what we see here, right? So when you did that slam, that soft engage, right? When you slammed here a bit earlier and punched back out, that was unnecessary. You didn't need to do it, right? But it's not risky at all. So I'm fine with you doing it. Whereas here, when there's a big ass ledge off the map, no shit's gonna be risky. And again, it's completely unnecessary by doing this. So that's something that I would always keep in mind of. Is what you whenever you're looking to get kills or again get more value at the end of a fight, keep that in the back of your mind, because you do not want to enter that risky territory. Because when you are overextending or when you are looking for kills, you're doing something that is unnecessary the entire time. So the risk is the important part when it comes to doing that. But yeah. And unfortunately, who knows? Like maybe this Meteor Strike becomes more important or could make an impact in the last fight here. Okay, let's see this from your POV actually. This is some get quick on type shit. Like punch the Farah. He didn't get the kill sadly, but sure. There's not really much a better Meteor Strike you could have done there, really, to be honest. I mean, actually, no, there is, right? You just leave. I don't know why you would. Like, why not like leave here and slam at the point? Keep your punch for the next fight where you can actually get a kill. You know. Why go for the get quick on special and try and punch the Farah?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, not ideal. Probably again a very ranked, again linking to the ranked, I guess, mindset mentality thing mentioned a bit earlier. But yeah, okay. Let's see here. Oh, that's so close to the Ajax. That's so close.
I was surprised I didn't get it.
Yeah, I was surprised. When I watched that just for the first time, I was actually shocked you didn't get the Ajax there. It's been unfortunate. Okay. 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 Sure. Sure. Maybe Meteor Strike there could have been useful to save your life. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah. Did you lose this point? Oh no, dudes. Oh no.
Yeah.
That's rough. Did you in those scrappy fights? You were actually playing pretty well. Or like when it came down to the raw mechanics. Barring power block, you were actually doing quite well. It sucks that again a few small choices there led to that one going to the enemy team. We'll see here for this next. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Small thing. So Farah is consistently spamming the Caudal here. There's a big ass rocket coming your way, and there's a big ass shurikens coming your way. Why not power block this?
I just guess I didn't take into account that I probably could have gotten a punch out of this.
Right. So I think again, it's the visual cue, it's the visual understanding that you need to be looking at. And when you're at this elo, even higher up as well, I think this is important. Especially for tank players because the Myco is really important. Generally when you're diving, but even in pre-fights it becomes important too. But like if this was a Widow, and if this was like a Sojourn, right, or a Freya, this is a Freya actually, she's different. But if this is like a double hit scan, then obviously don't power block this. But of course, like double projectile, big ass rocket coming your way, and you saw the rockets here by the way. You saw it when you were spamming over like this. You saw her spamming this direction here, so you can anticipate it. And of course, you can see the Genji and the Lucio here as well. So again, should be a fairly easy opportunity to get punched there. You dead ass. You just tank the direct there. You just take it. But yeah. Okay. I'm fine with that punch. Fine. Forces him out. Cool. Arm's okay. Okay. Right. So this is where power block becomes more useful. Right. So sounds really good. Right. But here. You're going to take a fuck ton of aggro. Farah is dashing onto you. You got Kiri and Genji who's right in front of you as well. Sure, you've got some shields to play with, but now is when you need to be thinking or anticipating the power block because now you can see 3 people coming your way, right? So again, you can anticipate the power block for this. Now power block would be great, right? There's a big ass Farah there, big ass Genji, people behind you. Now power block would be amazing. So again, why don't you power block this?
I guess I was just trying to be too like I saw the like 3 squishies there. I thought I could just get a pick like quickly.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's funny because if you wanted to get the pick here really quickly, you would have charged punch the Genji or Farah into a wall and get that pick anyways. If you wanted to go for that sort of, I guess, even that kill heavy mindset, right? But I guess it's like it's a big thing with ball players and Doom players actually. Is a lot of the time you'll sacrifice how do I phrase it in a simple way, it's like instant versus like delayed gratification where you'll instantly get a value by hitting the punch here, but the delayed gratification, the delayed value is by charging up the punch, which will get you more value in the mid fight. But yeah, it's very common for people to sort of use cooldowns really early or unnecessarily and jeopardize their value later into the fight, and I think that's a good example of it right there. Even now power blocking here makes sense, yeah. Alright, you still get the punch anyways, right? But again, I think it makes a little bit more sense there when again you've got 2 people coming your way, and that's a very very easy punch you could have gotten there. Because now obviously you can't see, and you're gonna blind punch this, you're gonna blind punch this. Obviously not ideal. Cancel it. Don't do it. I knew it the second I saw you blind charge it. I was like, you're not hitting shit, and you need to be able to cancel this because if you can't see anything, you need to cancel it. Live to fight another day, right? There's no one here. I know there's maybe a little bit of visual cluster from the explosion from the Farah here, but cancel your punch. There's nothing here. You really need to be paying attention to visual cues and not just preying off of hype moments and aura. I'm praying that you get locked out or kill here. Okay. Okay. Sure. Nice. What is that Lucy doing? Sure. How hard is it to cancel punch, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Get up here. Okay. Okay, I know this might contradict what I said at the beginning, but we'll look at one more fight, because I think I've got a general pattern, or I guess things you can actually tangibly work on the last sort of the last point in this first fight too. So we'll see if anything new crops up this fight. And if not, we'll do a quick summary on Doomfist, then go to the support VOD. But
No,
yeah.
it's the tank VOD. It's another tank VOD.
Oh, okay, cool. No worries. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. We'll see here, and then look at that other map. Okay. That far is none the wiser. Okay. Sure. Dude, Jesus. Yeah, power blocks are a major thing to work on here, obviously here. So when do you stop power blocking? Oh yeah, you do it when she's actually half her hitbox is behind the fucking billboard, and she's strafing to the left. Right, she's not strafing aggressively in front of your direction. So again, you really need to be paying attention to the visual motion of the enemy characters. Another way you can sort of look at it as well is look at their eyes, right? Look at what are they looking at. If they're looking at you, you are taking a ton of visual aggro. So then becoming, or using power block here, becomes more reasonable. Obviously here, her eyes are in a fucking billboard. So you can't, you know, she's not looking at anything. She's looking at a fucking billboard right now. So you're not going to get value out of this, obviously. Okay. See here. Unfortunate. Hold up. Actually, no, this is fine, yeah. I was gonna say, like, if you actually need to leave here, right? But Genji's, like, dropping down, needs an open space. I think this punch is reasonable. You just miss it, sadly. So nothing crazy. Okay. Okay. Slam's fine. Okay, nice. I really like how you part this. So I was actually thinking more of where you could actually slam, like you can short slam like over here and then use this as cover and then power block using the lion. But this is also fine too. I think that this works as well. And I really like how you use this left building here to sort of again play that aggressive but safe sort of positioning. So yeah, really good hit. Nice shots as well. I know, of course. Okay, so let's see this power block again. What are you power blocking? Oh, Lucio. Yeah. So I know you almost charged a punch over this, right? I think that's mostly maybe because the Lucio, I don't know, hit some headshots or whatnot. I have no idea. How you charge up so much of it? Who knows? But yeah, obviously, ideally, if it's a single Lucio, probably not worth using power block for this. Okay. Also nice. Punch is reasonable. Slam's reasonable. Strong point is reasonable. Fine. Okay. Oh, good here. Ooh. My game's crashing. There we go, fine. Okay. Punch is good. Okay. Block is a little bit better. So, what's good about this block?
There's like 3 people that are looking at me right now.
Yeah, right. So, this the Genji right here in front of you, and then 3 people here. So this block is a bit better for it. The only downside is, in quote unquote, is you're backing off here, so these guys might not be able to see you. But in terms of the general principle of like, hey, I'm taking a fuck ton of aggro because when you blocked here or blocked around here, you've got 3 different people looking at you. Then yeah, I think that makes sense. So power block here is definitely more reasonable. Okay, even if you don't charge the punch up for that. I think that's mainly because again you back off, you LOS out the 3 people playing to the right side there. But yeah. Okay, you punch away there. So what's the reason for punching away?
I think that I just assumed that the ball and the Kiri would be going to point around the side, but I was completely wrong.
Yeah, so I guess like it's not like the end all be all if you react to the ball on point, you know, like you can easily punch over to the ball and it's not a massive concern. You're not losing out anything by staying here and punching over if the ball does actually go point here. Whereas the opposite is actually true. You do lose a lot here if you leave the position here. Which is again really unfortunate, considering that again the diver from the enemy team is going to be really, really bad if you stay here. You can zone 4 people off while the rest of your team can clear a single Pharah, or should be able to clear a single Pharah, hopefully. But yeah, that would have been quite nice. The ball goes in here. He doesn't actually dive that hard, to be honest. Yeah, it doesn't really go in that hard, right? But look at how much space you give there. Not just that you give their ball, but also the rest of the enemy team here too, right? So, you could have stayed here, marked the bull, marked the Genji, potentially marked the Kiriko here too. Maybe the Lucio comes over and helps the Genji here as well. And then, again, you're marking 4 different people at once. And again, that's just insane value, right? The Genji's not able to wall climb over the wall. The Kiriko's not able to actually wall climb over their team. The Lute's not able to actually wide really, really far here. You essentially give out so much space, and you get pincered from 2 different angles between the Kiriko, or the Kiryu and the Pharah playing co-side, and the Lucio and the Genji playing right side here. So yeah, space control has been a big thing. This VOD so far. For sure. Okay. Alright, we'll look at the WQX code is the other one. Yeah, okay.
So in this, I play D.Va. D.Va is by far my worst tank. So I kind of like am gonna need how to play D.Va, or like what I should have done better.
Right. This is gonna be interesting, we'll say, because learning D.Va is not particularly the easiest task in the world, but we'll see here. We'll go to your POV. Right. So I guess like do I do a short explanation of this first? Okay, yeah. I mean, oh god, there's so much with D.Va. Okay, we'll watch, and then I might do some elaboration later. But there's gonna be a lot of small things to work on, but we'll see. Okay. Get up here. I'll actually ask you this: what is like your general understanding of D.Va generally? Like, how do you view the character? What are you good at?
You're good at like short burst dives. You know, you get a 4-second, 2-second dash, which is really good for mobility. And you're really good at like holding space and kind of like pushing people away with your like very fast kill time, and
Right.
also your defense matrix is good at just denying heals to their tank.
Yeah. What I mean, that's the second of that is really important here as well, because how does that apply to this enemy comp here too, right? What can you be looking to do against this comp?
If this ram pushes too far, I can kind of defense matrix behind them, and then the Ana gets 0 value on him.
Right. So you're gonna be, or thing you can do a lot is heavily zone out the cast, the Ana, and the Zen, which is something that again you're really good into that backline. So we'll see how well you do it here. And it's not just you doing it that's important, it's doing it safely at the right time and making sure you're not getting demeched for it as well. And then also, to add even more complexity, it's also looking for potential kills afterwards, right? So maybe you're just doing that zoning playstyle, you're zoning off the Ana backline and the Zen as well, but then maybe you look for an opportunity to boost onto the Zen and then finish your boosters on high ground. So another key idea here that's really, really important to D.Va at a high level is what I like to call booster baiting, which is, to put it simply, the first half of your boosters is different in terms of usage to the second half.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be
about that in your videos.
Yeah, I mentioned it in Alcatia a month or two ago. That's why the booster perk is also really useful, because the extra half second on duration allows you to do this a lot easier. So that's really important as well. But we'll see how it goes here. Okay. So even here, right? Do you need to leave the space here?
Not all of it, no.
No, right? How can you cleanse Discord here safely?
Just going into that corner right there.
Yeah, going the little cubby, right? Hiding over here. And again, you want to make it tough and scary for that Zen to come and clear you, right? So let's say you play over here. If the Zen wants to do damage, he needs to walk out in open space. This is scary and risky for the Zen, right? Conversely, right, if you feel that's still too scary for you, playing in the corner, where else can you maybe fly to?
Under the bridge.
Yeah, right, exactly. You can go, I mean, maybe less under the bridge because maybe the cast can drop down it like this and it's less risky for them. But I'd say here for sure, like around this sort of vicinity, To where again, these guys is swing all the way around super wide to come and chase you and kill you if you're playing over this sort of space, right? But again, because you fly back to your team, you give that Zen and Cass and backline a ton of space to work with. And against a really ranged backline like that, that's not what you want to be doing. And funnily enough, had you actually done that, had you played in this corner, you probably could have even fought off the Zen there. Who knows? But yeah. Okay. So we've got back to your PV here. Okay. That's fine. Okay. Sounds discorded first, right? Okay. Beaming Ram's okay. Okay. I'm going to stop here in a moment. Okay, nice. So, I mean, I was gonna say it in a moment, but you end up doing it, right? Is that you end up doing it a little bit too late before it's too late to say. Where again, this happened with a D.Va player I was literally just coaching earlier today, where they were really prone to having this very front to back against the enemy tank, and it's really easy to do this as D.Va. Especially if you've got a favourable matchup, like you're playing into Malga, and you really want to play to eat his cardiac overdrive. You're playing against Ramatra, and you can burn him when he's out of Nemesis. I'm not necessarily blaming you for beaming the Ramatra like this, but a way I like viewing it is if your character has mobility, you ought to use it. Because otherwise you might as well be playing a ground tank here entirely. So when I see you sort of shoot the Ram here, I'm like, okay, fine. You're getting some value here, right? Like, sure, you might be winning this frontline trade, but you're never gonna kill Ramatra. He's just gonna exist on frontline. Meanwhile, you can actually use your boosters and do something he can't, which is go on backline here, or again do what you literally just did there against the Cassidy. Now, I wouldn't suggest going all the way onto the Zen here, especially if you're half HP and you're discorded here. But the point being is to do something similar to what you did last fight, or what you just did right there against the Cassidy. And you can see, I zoom out and go top down. I believe someone on your team dies because of it. Right, your soldier ends up dying here, right? And also note that the longer this fight goes, the worse it is for your team, because the more spam these guys are gonna get. Not even necessarily longer the fight goes, right? The more time these guys spend uncontested, the worse it is for you and your team, and that's the scary part of this. So yeah, a bit unfortunate that again you just didn't spot or go into the Cassidy earlier when you've got the ability to do so. I guess if I asked you, why were you so tunneled on with the Ramatra earlier?
I guess I'm just scared of the Ana Zen backline. I know it's really high damage. I just get discorded. I'm just dead in half a second.
Right, yeah, I think that it's really gonna come down to Michael with how you do it, right? Because when you're playing D.Va, it's not even I've seen Hazards and Winstons and people characters like that, even Doomfist to lesser extent, but Doomfist is obviously less popular, right? But and Balls as well, who will find ways to outplay Sleep Dart. The whole point of it being is you kind of need to have the skill level to be able to outplay Sleep Dart, to outplay CC, to outplay damage, to play cover well. Even at high level, when people play Hazard, they will literally use the wall to push themselves upwards and wall themselves up to avoid things like Sleep Dart. That's how complex the micro can get, just to avoid things like that. So on D.Va here, especially when you're playing a tank that can really eat anything at any time, you've got tons of armor, and the DM I wouldn't be that scared about on Ana Zen. Just cleanse discord before you go in, is what I'd say. Okay. This is of course better though. Okay, just DM across the open space while you rotate to get the mega, nothing crazy. Okay. Let's see here. You're by your team, fine. Okay. Playing back is fine. Alright. So what should you have done here instead? What's the issue here?
I mean, I run into the wall. That's not very ideal.
Right. What about the general decision making, or for you to boost onto the backline here? Why is this not great?
Because Ramacha's right behind me. He's just gonna put a vortex down so I can't even escape and then pummel me.
Right, it becomes scarier for you to be able to sort of go on the backline here, because you can't reach them. B, your I don't even know where's the hell's your team. Let's start off with that actually. Your Cass is in spawn. your Brig Juno are zoned, this is like class A feeding. In other words, like what would be a Doomfist equivalent of doing this? Yeah, it would be like slamming from like here, like slamming over the top here to try and reach Honor Zen. It would be like that. Of course, you'd get blown up there immediately as Doomfist, right? On Diva, you can just DM out, right? But that's kind of how egregious this play is. And you can get away with it a bit more because you are playing Diva. But again, it's not something that you should be doing because you can get away with it. Of course, right? Just boost it up here, soft engage, wait for your team to walk, control the high grounds. Maybe look to stage a little bit wider, stall the cart while your team comes back. And then when your team do actually come back and play the high grounds, then maybe you look to play a little bit wider, right? So your movement looks like from here to here, and from here to here, right? Or from here to this corner maybe, right? And then you look to play a little bit wider, trying to find a way to get on top of that Honor Zen. So that's how your movement should have looked like this entire fight. Not in this very sort of, again, front to back. I'm just going to go into the Honor Zen here. Okay. Naded. Oh my days, yeah. Almost blown up there. Scary. And now, even if you wanted to go on backline here, even if you wanted to mark an angle, you can't. You're 300 HP on low ground with half your DM and boosts on CD. Like, you just can't do anything here, even if you wanted to. Like I could talk about, hey, you could fly high ground here, right? But it's still, and you should be doing this, by the way. But again, it's riskier because you're low HP and you've got no resources. Which is unfortunate because your soldier needs your help right now. If he dies here, it's on you. Oh boy. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. And let's say for argument's sake, let's say I put the camera here, and you were to stay here, right? So, where do you fly? Let's say you stay here, right? And let's say you stole cart, right? You would have marked that Freya, burned the Freya. You would have stored cart here. Maybe you could have dropped down onto the Freya, destroy her with what do you call it? Micro missiles, and fly back to the high ground here. That's completely reasonable. That's something you could have done there for sure. And that would have actually allowed you to keep the high ground here and push with your soldier. Right? This is the key thing with Diva, is this duel. Like, this is the epitome of your character. Right? This is like why Diva is sort of your main advantage over Romatra is that you can influence these duels a lot quicker than he can. The fact that you don't end up helping the soldier here is really disappointing. But yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Okay. And it's like, where can you... So going on Zen is fine. I think that's okay. Again, I prefer Freya because she's currently in your team right now. And leaving her puts your backline at threat. So again, I would mark the Freya here first. But Zen is also not a bad idea. He's also got a very good angle. And he's easier to kill. So I think it's not the worst thing in the world to do. But if you want to go on Zen here, where can you fly to? Where can you finish your boosters?
Like around the other side.
Be a little bit more specific.
Like what? To the right, like around the garden.
Oh yeah, here, right, around this sort of area would be quite nice. Well, yeah. Again, can anyone punish you for this if you're playing over here?
No.
No. Again, this is the epitome of aggressive but safe, as I've mentioned a billion times. But yeah. You can see how that would have pressured the Zen if you boosted over here. You can see how that forces this guy to move back away here, right? Had you flown over here. So yeah. Okay. Real. Move the camera here. Alright. Okay. You do go on Freya, thankfully. Nice. Looks like your missiles here actually here as well, because you waste your missiles. Oh yeah. Really common mistake on Diva is Divas will pop their missiles really far away or really early, and they'll miss most of them. And this is exactly what happens here, where you end up missiling here and hit what? How much damage was that you hit? Like 17 damage onto a Zen. Yeah, he's not threatened at all really. Whereas here, missiles would be really nice here, right? And then you blow up the Freya. So it's a bit unfortunate here. The missiles would have been really good though, actually. That probably would have been the difference maker. Now you get it. Okay, good cover usage. A bit unfortunate you didn't DM the thingy there, but it's fine. Draw your beads. Alright, small thing as well. So now we're getting into the booster bait thing, right? So, alright, very obvious, but where do you use the extra half of your boosters here?
Nowhere.
Is that again,
Oh,
sorry?
wait. You said where did I or where should
Where should you use the extra half of your
Oh,
boosters?
okay. High ground.
Yeah, obviously, right? Yeah, slight thing there. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Finally. Okay. So it's small. How much is your HP here? I haven't mentioned HP so far. 400. Yeah. So it's a small thing, right? But you need armor before you. You can push this, right? Which is fine. But if you want to push this, keep your boosters for it. Just walk forward, push cart here, and save your boosters for it because you haven't got enough armor. I think if you're full armor, I think you can get away with this boosters. I think again you can scare the Cassidy from walking off. But because you've got no armor, you're way squishier. So just chillax here, walk forward, and then save your boosters for another bit. You almost end up getting demech there because of it. Okay. You see here. Okay. Fine. Okay. Okay. It's unfortunate that you still can't push the cart here. Ugh, there we go, finally. Okay. Okay. Going down here. Really early, again, very early missiles. Okay. Okay. Fine. Bomb's fine. I think bomb is reasonable, to be honest. Big mistake there was missiles for sure. Like that Zen should have just got blown up immediately afterwards. But he didn't, sadly. Okay, we'll see here. Get up. Okay. Okay. Fine. The boosting there's fairly decent. So why is this a decent booster set?
Because what? Zen is alone, so I either force the Ram to walk up alone, or I, make him not get cart time.
Exactly, right? Yeah, great. It puts the Ram between a rock and a hard place. You got a good angle into the Zen, puts him between a rock and a hard place, and you're fairly safe while doing this. So hopefully you just don't get your armor blown up here again. Okay. Where do you actually wait? Hang on. Where do you finish your boosters? You can just play it here again, right? And again, your backlink can still help you. So, bit unfortunate. But at least it's got the right idea there, for sure. Now we're boosting into a marcher. Oh. Yeah, this doesn't achieve much. Okay. Okay. There we go, taking an angle away. But I'm not a massive fan of the orbital race, so I'm not gonna cry about it that much because that's not really on you. But again, I really hate this sort of front to back kind of playstyle when their backline's playing 10 years away, and this race should have been very easy to kites. But yeah. It would have been really nice if you like play this angle here. You keep the high ground, you pincer onto the Zen, or you get like a really nice like pincer from behind. That would have been really nice. But yeah. Okay. Okay, nice. Better. Missiles, thank you. Yes. Okay. Cool. Nice. What is that? What is that? Freya, oh, Jesus. Okay. Gonna be mech there, please. Thank you. Chill. DM. Nice. Good zoning. Okay, get some space. Fine. Okay. So why not actually just how do I phrase it here? Actually, I think this is actually okay. So initially I was gonna say just boost onto the Freya here, but of course that's a bit risky because you can get slept by Honor.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so yeah, going up to the top of this is completely reasonable. So that's fine. It's unfortunate that you lose a little bit of sight of the Freya, but nothing crazy. Yeah. And again, missiles are
after that.
Okay, you'll see here. Okay, yeah, there we go. Nice. And again, yeah, you see how important those boosters are, right? Because you use the fastest of it to kill the Freya, which is nice. But where should you use the extra half of your boosters here?
Back on high ground.
Yes.
On the bridge.
Flick your crosser up, go back to high grounds. What else can you maybe think of flying to as well here?
Like directly forward into that little cubby, like
Hmm?
right under the cast. Yep.
Right, right underneath here. Great. You LOS out the on and then the Zen. You can still mark the Cassidy. You push bot at the same time. Your backlink can still see you, right? Very nice. So this probably would be the best. Again, this is the best example of aggressive but safe here. But yeah, whenever you do have boosters, and I know you chose that perk here as well, which is nice. But yeah, whenever you're using boosters, that's something that you can definitely be thinking about. And you've got that extra sort of half a second of downtime to again naturally think about where you want to move to. And now you do move to it, which is nice. Good. Okay, sure. Okay. My only qualm there is that it's a little bit early, or you do it blind, right? So when you fly onto the Cassidy, you don't actually know that he's still here, which is my only mistake. Well, it's the only sort of concern that I have. Because if he's walking away, do you need to fly up here?
No.
No. Right, what can you just do instead?
Stay there or like go. I mean, yeah, stay there really.
Yeah, just to stay full Scott. I mean, it's not sort of revolutionary. And then yeah, Ram will be forced to drop, or he'll see 9. If the Ram does drop, then you can leave and go high ground here. Maybe go around it. Probably less so in this angle, to be honest, because you get punished. But yeah, probably back to high ground and then fine. You're a-okay. But yeah, nothing crazy. Less is more. There is a good way of putting it. Okay. Well, yeah, obviously allows you to get punished because you go a little bit. You essentially you bite off more than you can chew going against the Cassie there. And there's again no trigger to do so because he's already walked away. But yeah. Again, the way you can think about it is like slamming. Oh, it's seismic slamming this corner here when the Cass has already walked away. And again, you get punished for it because no one's hit. But yeah. Okay. We'll do a quick summary here at the end. We'll use. Yeah, we'll use this wall here. Okay. First thing, I'll select space, roll. So we'll say like a few things to that, right? So we'll say like preventing Genji or divers from staging. Right, so some examples that we saw there, and it's probably the biggest part of this. The biggest example that we saw there was holding on both Lijiang maps and then what else to that as well? I'm just trying to think right now in my head. I guess as well, like on retakes, swinging wider. Again, playing aggressive but safe. A little bit more of that. You did it fairly well, to be honest, a lot of the time, but just a little bit quicker or a little bit more frequent. Second thing I'd say is, and this will be specific to D.Va, but mainly because it's really easy and actionable. It's just again more booster, facing, as I kind of alluded to, and then I'm just thinking of something else, another point to make here as well.
Micro missile usage.
Yeah, I was thinking just general micro. I'm thinking about Doom as well. Yeah, okay, we'll just like greed, or like impatience in general. Right, so again, that comes down to again using micro missile too early. That can even look like tunneling on RAM too long. That can look like wasting meter strike.
Yeah.
That can look like again power block as well. I say that as well. Again, that links into visual aggro. But actually, yeah, impatience will come down to visual aggro. Because again, it's not impatient for you to brawl a Ramattra if their backline are in Narnia and they're not doing anything. It's not bad for you to use power block early if there's a Genji and a Pharah spamming from distance and you can get power block off of it. Again, it's really paying attention to again the aggro that's on your screen. Who is looking at you? Who is looking at and the eyes of the enemy team as well. And then one more thing to that I wanted to mention. I think that's mainly it. I think. Yeah, Micro Missiles there, Meteor Strike. Yeah, I mean that's really. I say this as well. Yeah. The pushing slowly. Right. So we also saw that as well sometimes, like literally on that second to last fight on Diva, where you pushed him without armor and you almost got demeched. We saw that as well, just that fight as well, where you pushed the Cassidy and were way too impatient. We saw on first point on Lijiang, where you were trying to you killed the ball and then you chased the Pharah, and then because you chased the Pharah on half HP, you ended up getting your Meteor Strike forced out, which is not great. So again, looking at what's on your screen, i.e., again, how much aggro are you taking? Can you take this aggro fairly easily? Can you take it safely? If not, can you play a little bit slower? And can you push a little bit slower? Is it kind of like the key third point there? And then Michael will come into that underneath that point too. But yeah, those are the kind of the 3 key points, I'd say. Any questions or queries or concerns?
What did I do well on Doom, you think?
Yeah, so like again, it was really when it was in the dogfight, like your ability to switch targets really easily, and go on key targets. Like you'll see someone split, and then in the blink of an eye, you'll punish them immediately. So we saw the Cassidy a lot there when he was walking out in open space. We saw the Genji and Kiriko in the mid fight as well. Whenever the Kiriko wasted TP, whenever the Lucio was overextending, whenever the ball was slept, stuff like that was really good. And even though we saw some micro as well, some small micro mistakes in terms of like your punches and whatnot, also your shots and whatnot. You hit a lot of your punches. Like you didn't miss many of your punches. And that goes for your empowered punches too. You barely missed any of them. Slams were good as well most of the time. Barring first fight. But yeah, in terms of like getting into a scrappy dogfight and dueling characters and looking for kills and switching targets, yeah, I've got no concerns there. Really, to be honest, I highly doubt it's like mechanics holding you back too much. But yeah. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, as usual, I've recorded a session, so you can watch it back at your spare pace, hopefully, when it's finished uploading.